East side, west side, worldwide. You can't get the west without the east. Welcome to Story Time with OG LA Ron. Please don't forget to smash the like button, comments, and subscribe. Today, I want to do a piece on a guy that I met him back in the days. His name is Babyfish, Fire Trey Avalon Gangster Crip. Yes, sir. I got familiar with this guy in 1997. I got to Lompoc in 1997. I have been listening to the news, and the news was saying that Los Angeles is actually the bank robbing capital of the United States. And as I was going through the process of me trying to get my time back, I ran into these vicious, notorious bank robbers out of Los Angeles. One of them name was Polo. He was out of the Hoovers over there somewhere. He had 78 years. I ran into Bolo and Tip from Watergate. I ran into Little Man at IBC. I ran into a bunch of these guys, man. But these guys was young guys. I think Polo was probably older. Sule. And I ran into Babyfish and Tiny Fish. I think they Babyfish, Tiny Fish. But I just sat there and seen all of these bank robbers. But it was about 6 or 7 fishes there. It was Big Fish from 6 Dudes. One of the fishes from 60s, which is my guy. Fish from Atwater Gangster. I think his name was Seafish. One of the fishes from Atwater Gangster. Then you had Babyfish and Tiny Fish, and you had me. It was so many fishes there that every time you hear somebody say fish, you would turn around. Or when they have fish on Fridays, you would turn around. Or fish on whatever they have fish, you would turn around. But anyway, man, to make a long story short about this guy, one day me and 6'5", man, we was sitting on the yard. And we was just talking about a lot of the guys that had time. Because, you had a lot of guys out of 40s. You had Little Man out the 40s. I think Trey 40s. What's my boy name out the 40s? Forgot his name. But anyway, he was good. He was cool. All of these guys, there was so many young guys in there from bank robbery, man. And, me and a lot of us guys, we had drug cases. So when 6'5" was telling me that, Fish, that little, see them dudes right there, them 2 dudes right there, they crime partners. One of them got 60 years, 66, and one of them got 67. I say, whoa. But, I thought, life sentence is death. So when you look at these young guys, man, they're in their 20s, they got 60 and 65 years. You be like, man, what is going on? But I see that, the feds, they have a thing called interstate commerce, which is the Hobbs Act. And I see them hit these young guys with this Hobbs Act, because the Hobbs Act, the only way you can see that as a bank is UFC, whatever it is, they have to prove it. And they wasn't proving on these guys, and they would find out later that their bank wasn't really federal. But anyway, I end up leaving Lompoc. So when I get to Pollock, Fish is there. He already there, and it's a bunch of homies there. They shipped all of the guys with life and a lot of time to Pollock. They was trying to gut out Lompoc to make it a FCI. So they shipped all of us to Louisiana, and I think that Louisiana and DC was had a little beef, but it was a little small fire. But anyway, one day, man, we was on the yard, man, and the DC and the Southsiders got into it real vicious, and we was out there, and some of us was out there and some of us wasn't, but they went down together, they went down, so they started shipping everybody. But when I got to Pollock, Fish was in the cell with a guy from DC, a young guy, and Fish was real flamboyant. He was real cool. Fish had like green eyes and stuff. So we're in the same unit with JC, Twin, a lot of guys out the South and everything. So I was like, Fish had got some kind of notice in the mail that he was supposed to be going back to court. So when Fish went back to court, he went back to court, and we was like, yeah, man, I hope Fish gets some of that time back. But Fish come back and say, man, they wanted me down there for that stuff that Crazy did in Lompoc. That's another story. We'll talk about that later. So when Fish got down there, they told Fish, man, yeah, man, y'all down here for what happened in Lompoc. And Fish was like, man, if you don't get me up out of here, man, I don't want to hear none of that. So they got Fish up out of there. So I left Pollock and Fish, Reddy, I think Mike D out of Oklahoma, all these young riders down there, Nose, TC, a lot of guys, they kind of like walked me to the gate. And I got to the gate, man, and I got on the plane. Then I came back because the plane wasn't working that day, so I came back and I left the next day. So we all kind of like was hugging and everything. Like, man, I'm on my way to Atwater because they was trying to open up Kentucky, and I didn't want to be shipped to Kentucky. So I said, man, I'm finna get on this thing, go to Atwater and stay down there because it's a USP. I'm gonna stay down there and I'm gonna do my thing and everything. So when I got to Atwater, it was a bunch of homies there, a bunch of homies from Vegas. My homie L from Wichita, Kansas was there. It was a bunch of guys there, man. I mean, then they moved me in one of the units over there. I was in the same unit with Tone from DC. I was in the same unit with Mario from DC. I was in the same unit with Titus from DC. I was in there with Wild Out from Baltimore. But I was in there with a lot of the main guys that was, from DC that was kind of like running the car. I was in there with Oos that was in there. We was all in the same unit. We all got along, and we was chilling and everything. So one day I tell Tone, I say, hey, man, the police just got killed up here, man, and I think I'm going to try to go to a medium. So Tone like, man, you ain't going to be able to go to no medium, Fish. You got life since, man. I said, look, Tone, I ain't had no shot, man, since 97, man. I think I can go to a medium because dude told me in the back. So Tone like, all right. So Mario's like, yeah, man. Yeah, Fish, man. You gonna be able to go, man, but so we got to hanging out, and Mario, he ain't acting crazy. Mario, real good dude and everything. But anyway, man, Fish, to talk about Fish, I end up leaving Atwater. But I don't know if it was when I was in Atwater or when I was in Victorville. I heard the news over the wire, man, that one of the fishes got killed. So one thing about the prison, you got prison news, and dudes was running around saying, Fish got killed, and Fish from they thought everybody was like it was Fish from 7-6. They was like, nah, man, because I ran into a lot of guys, and they was like, nah, Fish, it was the Fish from Broadway. I mean, from Avalon. So they was like, yeah, Fish, man, it's one of the fishes. So when I got to Victorville, Fish had got killed, man, and a lot of guys really didn't know the story and things. So everybody was like, what happened? And he was like, yeah, man, Fish got killed by a riot by the DC and LA guys. They got into it, and Fish got stabbed, and Fish passed and everything. And I was like, wow, man, I had just left Fish, man, and Fish was on some cool time. Fish was a youngster, man. He was coming up in the system. He was establishing himself, man, and he was on some serious time. But I was kind of like felt sorry for Fish because I was like, man, Fish. I think Fish had went to the USP Lompoc. No, Victorville. He was in USP Victorville, and I was in FCI Victorville. So when the wire came over the wire, everybody was like, "Oh man, that's Fish from Avalon." So it's like, okay, man. But just to talk about this guy, man, he was a young guy with a gang of time, man, and I just wanted to talk about Fish, man, how he was. I think I gotta be able to talk to him, and I got some good sense into his head, man, and he was on the right path, man, and I don't really know exactly what happened, but I know it was some things between LA and DC, and RIP Fish, and I just wanted to tell a story on Fish from Avalon, which I'm gonna be telling a bunch of stories on different guys, and I just wanted to talk about this guy because I knew him, and he was a young guy, and he always, was down for the cause, and he was trying to give his time back, and he was just a young guy out of South Central, man, that was trying to find his way, and I know one day he was probably going to get that time back, because I just seen Polo give his time back, Lil Man give his time back. I just seen all of these guys give their time back because they weren't supposed to have that much time anyway. But you know what I'm saying? Just to be able to talk about these stories and be able to know that these guys, I knew these guys, and just to talk about them, man, because I know a lot of the guys, man, that I was in the units with, we all knew each other, and they was telling me, yeah, Fish, one of the guys that Fish got into it was one of the guys that was in Atwater with us. You know the guy, and he had been in trouble before, but you know him and everything. That's the one Fish and them got into it with. But just talk about Fish from Avalon.